I'm Christine Stavropoulos.
Κι εγώ, ο Νίκος Σαμίδης.
Maybe you were born in Athens. Or maybe your yaya was.
Ίσως μεγάλωσες μιλώντας σου ελληνικά. Ή ίσως είσαι το ξαδελφάκι που φεύγει για Ντουμπάι για δουλειά για 1 χρόνο μόνο.
Wherever you are in the world, if Greece lives in your heart.
Αυτό το ταξίδι είναι για σένα. Φύγαμε.
Welcome back to the Greek Podyssey. Thank you for joining us.
So it's the part B of the Macedonian issue, if we could call it like that. We're here with
Back with Panagiotis.
Panagiotis Diamandis.
Yes.
Dr. Panagiotis.
Dr. Panagiotis.
Diamandis, historian, who analyzes the history behind the Macedonian issue.
And we're unpacking it bit by bit, but we left out...
Let's say what was said on the first episode. We'll do a recap.
But let's touch on the Byzantine, because we forgot about the... We didn't... We ran out of time. We ran out of time.
I needed to skip forward to get to some of the juicier bits. So we started way back with the Stone Age, the earliest hominid fossils, Taralna Cave, went through the antiquity, the early history, the Olympic Games, Philip II, Alexander III, nicknamed Alexander the Great. I think Philip was greater, but that's my personal opinion. Because
I'll take that.
How do you measure greatness?
When Philip became king, the kingdom was a mess. They had lost their king in battle. They lost 4,000 soldiers on the battlefield. He had to literally sell himself to the Illyrian king by marrying one of his daughters to get a peace deal. Within a generation, he is the strongest man west of the Aegean.
Okay.
That's greatness.
It is.
To take a ruin and build it.
And build it.
Okay, and that's the foundation Alexander built on to go all the way to what we call India.
Mm-hmm.
And then we swept through Roman period. We kind of skipped the Middle Ages. We're going to come back to it now. Then we did the real meat, the real beginning of the Australian issue, the 1870s, the formation of Bulgaria, the Exarchato.
The geopolitical issues.
The various Balkan wars, World War I, World War II, touching on the Civil War, which is where we're going to pick up today.
Okay.
Let's have a small segment about the Byzantine times. Okay.
So as we know, the Roman Empire split in the 5th century, into two halves. The emperor saw his sons, his successors. He goes, you guys are both morons. You're going to fight and destroy the empire. You're taking the western half, you're taking the eastern half. So we get two Roman empires. The western half falls apart within a few years. The eastern half becomes what we call Byzantium, the Byzantine Empire. Never forget, Byzantine is an English term. The locals never called themselves Byzantines. They had no concept of it.
But it's a whole period. Like the Byzantine period.
About 1,000 years. A little bit more than 1,000 years.
Yep. So how did they see themselves?
Romani. Romans.
Mm-hmm.
The natives of Constantinople, the Greek speakers who are Muslim, but they live in bondage, call themselves Romani. The Muslim Pondians call their dialect Rumje or Romaica.
Mm.
Now, why Roman? Because Romans were Christian. Coming back to religion, I discussed last week about religion. To distinguish yourself from Hellenes, who were the pre-Christian. I don't like the word pagan. They worship the many gods.
And many still consider that they were the true Hellenes. The gods.
For me, orthodoxy is Christianity in Greek clothing. You cannot separate Orthodox Christianity from Hellenism.
Yes.
It's
I agree.
Grown over the last almost 2,000 years.
It's become an identity.
It's become long ago became an identity, and now it's completely inseparable.
Yep.
So is it true? Is it pure? There is nothing pure. Unless you're talking about atoms, they're pure.
Yes.
Anything above an atom or an electron or a proton is not pure. Now, I'm ranting.
No, it's good. It's a good example.
So they became Christian. So they took a whole bunch of the temples and they were very environmental. They loved their recycling. So the buildings that were temples became churches.
Right.
The Parthenon is the classic example.
Yes.
It became from a temple to Athena to a temple of Panagea,
Mm-hmm.
the church of Panagea.
Yep.
Pure coincidence that it's a young girl who's a virgin. Pure coincidence in both
So
cases.
that's a coincidence.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah. Isn't it great, though, how they took those temples from that period and adopted them into churches?
Muslims did the same thing. You walk through the Middle East, particularly Anatolia,
Yep.
anything pretty much before the 1700s, any mosque, you look at it carefully, you can see the old church.
The influence of the church. Let's not even go to Hagia Sophia.
It's an old church which was they chucked on a minaret and they converted into a mosque.
Yep.
Why bother rebuilding when the building's right
It's
there
already
ready
there.
to use?
And it's amazing building.
Repurpose it. Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
so integral part of orthodoxy are our ikones, the icons, whether they are physical icons like blocks of wood or on walls, murals. And they are usually accompanied by inscriptions. So you know which saint it is. Or, in my case, Panagea, which most people forget. Panagiotis is named after Panagea,
Yes.
Yeah.
which my students love Googling and then laughing their heads off when they read the translation of Panagea,
Yeah.
All Holy. So they translate my name as All Holy Diamond, and they just laugh. And a lot of these medieval churches which survived conversion to Islam, because a lot of them did, some didn't, especially in the more isolated areas, we still have these inscriptions, particularly around, for our purposes, around Achrido, Lake Ohrid, the Prespa lakes. Some amazing medieval churches with their original Greek inscriptions. Not modern Greek. Let's be clear, not
Yes.
modern Greek.
Why
It's
did they
it's-
retain those, though?
Right, why they retain the inscriptions?
The Ottomans, why did they retain the old Greek
There
inscriptions?
were very few Muslims in that area.
Right.
Too poor,
Yeah.
too isolated. They didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's a very rich region.
It was before the Ottoman Empire.
Let's go to the Cold War. Are we finished with the Byzantine?
Okay, so these inscriptions are all in the medieval Greek of the time. This was the language of the church. This was the language people spoke. So the inscriptions are in Greek. A lot of the people, you'll hear the propaganda from the Skopjani that
The North Macedonians.
the inscriptions were changed into Greek. You can kind of tell if it's a 1,000-year-old church. You can kind of tell if it's written in Cyrillic or Old Church Slavonic, which they erroneously claim as Macedonian. It's not. It's the Slav dialect of the time for the people living there.
Right.
It's the Slavonic that the Serbian church uses, the Russian church uses, the Bulgarians use. All right, it's the Slavic of 1,000 years ago.
Can I
Yes.
ask this
Our Greek is the Greek of 1,000 years ago in church.
Exactly. Yeah. What were you going to say, Nico?
about the Cyrillic and Kyrillos and Methodios, the two brothers from Thessaloniki? They were Greek, but they claim that they're not Greek.
Their university is named after, the main university in Skopje is Cyril and Methodius.
Yeah.
Kirill and Methodius.
Why do they claim they're not Greek if they're Greek?
Because they invented a written script for the Slav peoples. They had no written script. They had a language, an oral or version of
But
language,
not a
but not a written script.
one.
These guys, these brothers, who were both monks, so highly educated, took basically what they knew, which was the Greek alphabet, adapted it to the Slav languages, which is the 24 letters that we have,
Yeah.
plus a few sounds that exist in Slavic but not in Greek.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Yeah.
je. These don't exist in Greek.
No.
There's no letters for writing them.
Yep.
So they developed new letters for them.
To give them an identity. With
get
a
to-
written with
To give them a written.
A written.
Cyril, Kyrillos and Methodios had one purpose in mind, to convert them to Orthodox. Or Christianity back then.
Yes.
Because these guys were before the schism with Rome.
Right.
Before Rome broke away.
Yeah.
Now, so the whole point was to make them Christian.
To teach the
in their language.
word of God. Yeah.
In
their language, exact. Right, okay.
So that
So they needed something written.
and out of there, you start getting, the Cyrillic script,
Yep.
which now is used by the Serbs, the Bulgarians,
Yeah.
the Skopje, the Russians, and a whole bunch of others, with small variations amongst them. Now, in the 1920s, part of the national project we were talking about last week, you had Turkish speaking coming in from Eastern Thrace and Anatolia. You had these Slav speakers who were left behind. How are you going to make them all learning Greek? You bring in the national education system, which uses the dialect of Athens,
Mm-hmm.
what we call modern Greek.
Yes.
Part of the propaganda is that people were going around the churches in the mountains and graveyards, changing inscriptions from Macedonian, in inverted commas, to Greek.
Too much work.
First of all, it's too much work. And in the 1920s, Greeks had way bigger problems.
Exactly.
Of changing the...
Inscriptions on tombstones.
And the evidence would have been left behind. I mean, you can tell an inscription where it's recent or old.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Of course.
It's really screamingly obvious. You take one
Exactly.
look at it. They don't even have equipment.
Yeah.
But in the 1920s, apart from this national project, you've got to think, Greece's population increased by 25% in 3 years.
Due to the migration.
The survivors coming across
From
from Pontus, from
Yes.
Asia Minor, from Eastern Thrace, as well as Greeks coming from the Soviet Union, from Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Got it.
We're talking
Wow.
about 1.4 million people in
3 years.
Massive.
Greece was 5 million people there. So you think about, we live in Sydney, about 5 million. Can we absorb 1.4 million in 3 years?
No.
That's what Greece had to deal with.
Well, under Albanese government, I think we can do that.
That's another subject.
Just to put a bit of a humor in it.
In Australian terms, we're about 26 million now, 25, 26 million. Could we cop 6 million refugees tomorrow and resettle them?
No.
That's what Greece was faced with.
Yeah. Look, Australia probably could if you spread it out across this landmass, but not in one city.
Well, it's...
Greece didn't have the land.
Exactly. That's
Greece
it.
is smaller
It's
than
a
Victoria.
tiny.
And it's
exactly.
resources as well. It's
Yeah.
not only
No, I'm saying
land.
the analogy.
Yeah.
So
The land masses.
so one of the best answers to these that were changing tombstones, they changed inscriptions wrong, and guys, they had better issues. That they needed to feed, house, educate, healthcare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life issues, not
Tens of thousands were dying of
yeah.
diseases like cholera
exactly.
in the quarantine camps.
Yep. And assimilating and not being rejected and the racism and
And just as they're getting on their feet, we have the Great Depression.
yes,
So the economy collapses again.
tough times.
And just when they're getting on their feet, we have World War II. Think about where Greece has come in the last 100 years. Think about it. 1925, the last of the refugees, last of the survivors arrived. To 2025, it's miraculous what the country's achieved.
Isn't it amazing the resilience though? When you look at that, what you've just condensed, bang, 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 those and to grow from that and still be, that is the epitome
amazing.
of resilience.
Absolutely.
I think it's in our DNA now. It is.
Let's have a break from this interesting topic for Lucas Theodoro and Helco Consulting's segment. Tips and advices for all your business and investment in Greece. Please note, the content of this podcast is for general informational purposes only. It does not constitute legal, financial, or professional advice. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and should not be relied upon for making decisions. Always consult a qualified professional for advice tailored to your situation.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Greek Podyssey, where we'll be talking all things business in Greece. This is our last episode for season 2. It has been such a pleasure having all of you responding to your questions and hearing your interest about doing business in Greece, and obviously having Nico and Christine as fantastic hosts on this podcast. We've covered a lot of topics across this season, from employment to investment to buying real estate to tax to how do we get back to Greece, and what programs and visa options are available to not only Greeks of the diaspora, but non-Greeks as well. We will finish off by saying a few things in relation to what are things to look out for and how do we start to prepare and get this momentum going about doing business in Greece or potentially coming over. It is very important to have all your ducks in a row, as we'd say. Having prepared visa applications, financial records, tax, sorting out tax statuses, whether that makes a non-dom in your home country or whether you remain a tax resident of your country, depending on the visa that you're going on. But all of these things do require time and research, including as well, of course, where will you stay in Greece? Will you be working? Will you be a nomad? Will you be buying a business? All of these things are quite important things to think about. And you'd say to me, well, that's obvious. We have seen so many cases where people will come not prepared, and unfortunately, whether you're moving to Greece or any country, if you're not prepared, you can get caught out. So that is why having the right team and having the right services behind you is extremely important. And we help all our clients not only scout the market for what they're looking for, but help them understand what they will need before they make the move and before they actually come. There are certain visa types that must be applied for outside of Greece, and there are certain categories of visas that will not be accepted if you are already in Greece as a tourist. It is really important to understand your rights, the rules and the regulations before you come, and that is where we're here to help you understand everything from tax to banking to investment, employment, and so on and so forth. It is very important to understand that Greece is a fantastic country, but just like any country around the world, it is super important to know what you're getting yourself into, but also to understand and be prepared prior to coming. It's all very doable, it's all fantastic, and the lifestyle is fantastic here. It's unbeatable. So that's why we're here to help, and we can assist you with anything and everything as we are here on the ground. Thank you so much for joining us in season 2, and we will hope to see you next season back on the Greek Podyssey. Thank you, Nico and Christine, and enjoy your summer in Australia or your winter in the Northern Hemisphere.
So let me put you back in order, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's go to the Macedonian issue in the Cold War context.
Okay.
Let's go there.
Keep in mind geography and keep in mind politics. Who controls the north coast of the Aegean Sea, particularly Thessaloniki and Kavala, the two major ports? At this time, you're starting to build a port in Alexandroupolis. So now 3 key ports.
Yep.
Why are ports so important?
Tell us the year.
We're now
What year
talking
are we?
about after World War II,
Right.
after the Civil War, getting into the Civil War, 1940s.
1940s, right.
All right? 1940s. Great powers sit down at Yalta. They split up the world. Greece is on the western side with the Allies. Other side of Greece, we've got 3 communist states. And then the Turks who sat out World War II because neither side would give them what they wanted, which was half the Aegean Sea. Neither the Germans would give it to them, nor the Allies. So what do the communists want? Access to warm water ports. They've got, at that time, they controlled Ukraine, they controlled the Caucasus, they've got the Black Sea. But where is the choke point of the Black Sea? Gallipoli. You know Gallipoli?
Yes.
1915?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gallipoli and Constantinople,
Mm-hmm.
the Dardanelles and the Bosphorus. So how does the Soviet Union bypass this choke point? We want Bulgaria to take, or as the Bulgarians do, we want communists to control Northern Greece and control Macedonia,
Yes.
to give us a way to import-export bypassing the straits.
Yep. And using it as a strategic port.
Now, I'm going to now jump to today.
Yes.
Next time you're both in Greece, I want you to do me a favor. Go to Alexandroupolis,
Yeah,
which is 40 kilometers from the border.
yeah.
And
Take a look at what's happening there.
what's happening there?
LNG terminal being
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Why?
Base.
Export American gas
Yes.
Base.
all
Military
the way up
base.
to
Ukraine.
Yes.
the railways are used to do what? Export military aid
yep.
to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Why from Alexandroupoli? It bypasses the straits.
Yes.
80 years later, the same game.
So history just continues because
The great game always
geopolitical
considers.
interests are still alive
Always.
and present.
Always.
So is there an ongoing threat?
Threat, always. If you don't defend what's yours, you will lose it.
Yeah. Even though we've since established NATO and the UN
Why was NATO established?
well,
to protect.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
So this is really, so throughout the whole Cold War period, it kind of dies. The issue kind of dies because after the Greek Civil War, which was completely unnecessary, that's another story. That's when Greeks being stupid, we played great power politics, but with each other's lives.
Yeah.
You literally had families shooting at each other. It was
Ridiculous.
one of the darkest
periods
parts of our
history. Yeah.
and our history, our recorded history, is over 3,000 years. It kind of settles down. So where does the Macedonian issue really flare up?
Yeah.
In the Diaspora.
Exactly.
That's
Why? Why?
What did I say before about the people, the leaders who keep the issue going? They were mostly from Florida and
Yes.
Castoria.
Yeah.
People who lost the Civil War. People whose grandparents and great-grandparents had been Komitadzives with the Bulgarians before them. They brought this hatred, they brought this passion for what they saw, for their beliefs, to Australia.
So it didn't exist before?
There weren't enough, first of all, there weren't enough migrants from Macedonia, geographic Macedonia, in Australia for anything to really exist. Before about 1930 is when we have enough that they start to form associations.
Yes.
The oldest Macedonian association in Australia is not in Melbourne, and it's not in Sydney, it's in Perth.
Really?
The Alexander the Great Club in Perth is the oldest one. It was formed in 1930. Mostly by Kozani, people from Kozani, the area of Kozani,
I'm floating now.
Castoria and Florida.
So when you say in Australia, this would be a worldwide for the diaspora around the world. wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just prevalent in Australia.
I'm talking about Australia, one, because we live here, and
Yeah.
two, it's what I've studied the most.
Yes.
But similar things were happening in America and the United States.
That's what I want to ask. It was the same
Similar
thing.
things, but you've got to remember, 1920s, 1930s in America was a very dangerous time to not be American. KKK's running around.
Yes.
And they didn't just target Jews and Africans. They targeted anybody they didn't like.
Yeah.
Orthodox, aren't you basically Catholic?
Yeah. Come here. Hang you.
Well, but at least beat them up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lynching
be gentle.
Lynchings were pretty
Lynchings were
problem.
restricted really for African Americans, but it was not an easy time to be openly Greek.
And what is the division between Hellenic and Bulgarian factions?
Basically, the dividing line was, one, which church did you belong to? A church that accepted Constantinople, or a church that looked at Sofia.
Okay.
Exarchato, Patriarchio.
Yeah. So that's the
That was
Exarchato.
the dividing.
That's the Exarchato. Exarchato is the ones
Bulgarian
that
church.
the Bulgarian church. Okay. Yeah.
Even today, we've got the Serbian Patriarch, we've got the Romanian Patriarch,
Yeah.
the Ecumenical Patriarch.
Yeah.
But the leader of Bulgaria is the Exarch. Or Exarch was the word he used.
So now we're about 1930s, correct?
I'm
We are,
going to skip from 1930s
and let me ask something about that.
and go to 60s, 70s. Yep.
So 1930s, let's say the propaganda hasn't started yet.
Yes. Oh, very much sense.
Okay, so it's after. Let's go to Metaxas dictatorship.
Again,
That
we made
area-
mistakes.
We made mistakes.
We
Which
made
were?
mistakes.
Talk about it.
Forcing part of this nation-making project was that they would send teachers, policemen, soldiers from southern Greece to northern Greece to make them feel all Greek. Problem is that when the teachers would hear dialects, languages that they didn't understand, they would punish the students. Castor oil, beating.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you spoke Pondian, you were like, don't speak that rubbish here. We're Greek,
Yeah.
even though Pondian is actually closer to ancient Greek than modern Greek.
Yes.
The Kritiki would not understand Nashi, would not understand the local dialect. So you develop it. I've seen it today. Even today, I was in Greece in January, and I sat down in Edessa with some friends of relatives who are Nashi speakers. And when I would say to them a few words in the few words that I know dialect, I look at his face and I go, you're not Pondi, you're Ponashi. And he would freeze for a second, look down, his voice would lower. This is a man in his 70s, but his voice would lower and he would go, no. Wouldn't speak me back in Nashi.
Yeah.
Was it a stigma? Was it?
Big time.
Yeah.
Like Vlachika, it's like being known as a bogan.
Yeah.
It became ingrained
So-
in the Diaspora. As you know, Chinese whispers,
Yeah.
stories get blown up and actively persecuted. Metaksa was a fascist.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
He was. Actually, there's I'll tell a small story about, Metaxas. He banned all other languages except Greek. You're not allowed. Turkish, Bulgarian, whatever. So there's
What was the only exception? Ladino.
Ladino.
Ladino was permitted.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but Ladino was accepted.
Okay.
It was only in Thessaloniki.
Yeah,
And a few cities. It wasn't in the countryside. It wasn't in sensitive areas.
So there is a group of people in a cafeneo, a coffee shop in Drama, and they're drinking the tea, the coffee, and they're still talking Turkish. So the policeman walks into the cafeneo, everyone stops talking.
Yep.
And there's a guy who wants to say that we speak Greek, and he goes to the coffee owner, he goes, Mukhal. Chai. And that was Greek. And that was a Greek. So we are these
You guys both know Podyssey.
Yes.
He was my supervisor, one of my supervisors for my PhD. And he told me this one story, it's a lovely story. He went down to the Tsakonika Horia, around Leonidio, north of Spain, so
Yeah.
right down the south. And Tsakonika is basically Homeric Greek.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Basically Homeric Greek,
Wow.
right? And he goes, they've never recorded. Because he
Why?
was studying languages back then.
Yeah.
So what did he do? He just sat down with them, put the tape recorder under the table,
Yeah.
and let them know that he was recording it. The stigma of not being, it's ours, but we're not kind of like comfortable talking it around strangers.
Yeah. Wow. That's
that's true.
Think about if you're in
And
Australia.
it's sad, though,
How
isn't
many
it?
of our people who grew up in the bush towns, people who are now 70s, 80s, 90s, speak fluent Greek?
Very few,
Hardly any of them.
if any.
Yeah.
There was that stigma, speak English or die get bloody well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I call the tail end of that period. Let's go back to Macedonia.
Can
Yeah.
I ask were Slavo-Macedonians in Greece persecuted for their nationality or their political beliefs?
In my not very humble opinion, politics.
Politics.
Most of them tended to be hard left, related to former fighters in the Elas. In the
Yes. Yeah.
And rural societies, the crime of one is the crime of the whole family.
The whole family. Yep.
The whole
Yeah.
family gets
And
tainted.
stigmatized with it. Yes.
You're a traitor. You're the cousin of the
Of
traitor.
that. Exactly.
So you're not going to go to uni. You're not going to get a government job. You're just going to sit there
And stew.
and stew or lead.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
So this clarifies the myth that Greeks oppressed Macedonians purely for ethnicity.
The Southerners or the established Greeks did the same thing with the Pontians, with Mikrasiates, with the Thrakiotes.
They did.
Yeah.
Or
Even though they were Greek,
or
they
when
were.
the Epirotes, for example, would go down from Yanina to Athens because of that thick accent. Ektovlafo,
Yep.
Yeah.
the hillbilly, the hick.
Yes. It still happens today.
It's human nature.
It's human nature.
If there was no discrimination based on nationality or ethnicity, It was purely ideological in the Cold War context. And you've got to keep that in mind.
Mm.
The border of the Cold War from Thessaloniki is about 70 kilometers away. That's in Wollongong.
Yes.
It's not far. It's not far with transport.
Yeah.
So they felt that threat constantly. Don't forget, in the 60s and 70s, the Civil War was only 20 years before.
Yeah.
Those memories are very much alive.
That's where I want to go now. I want to go in that part, the Civil War. And let's talk about that, how that influenced the whole
Big time.
Macedonian.
Again, our mistake for political reasons. The Communist Party decided to form a unit within the rebel army, or the Democratic Army, called the SNOF, Slav Macedonian National Liberation Front.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I
Everybody
never
knows
heard of that
about.
before.
I didn't know
never
that.
heard about
It's
it.
only a few thousand men
Yes.
that actually joined it.
And what
But
was their purpose?
to serve in the front lines to fight the Royalist Army.
Right.
Or as it was in the time, in the propaganda of the time, the monarcho-fascists. Now, how do we know this? This is the period, the Civil War period, is when we start getting the first Slav Macedonian newspapers in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's a good timeline to see the emergence of
These
it.
newspapers,
Yes.
the only way, I mean, this is why the Podyssey is so important. Media is one of the key ways to bind a community together.
Exactly.
We listen to the same sources of information, the same entertainment. Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, that's where Bulgaria comes as allies of the Nazis.
Beforehand, yes. And now they swap sides. It's now not a monarchy Bulgaria, royal Bulgaria, now it's a communist Bulgaria.
Yeah.
But it's the same point. They fund and they give shelter, they give supplies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sad page of the history.
Oh, very sad.
So
Very sad because
how did that evolve?
SNOF is dissolved in 49
Yeah.
at the end of the Civil War. But a lot of those fighters migrate to Australia or settled in Skopje, and they keep
The flames
issue
burning alive.
Why? I lost my Fordio. I lost my Patricon. I lost my village, my family house, my fields. I want it back.
Yes.
So it evolves from I want my personal stuff
To changing history.
I want the whole country back.
Yes. And
How about-
trying to connect it to the historical.
What are the two key words you
roots.
used last week? Validate.
Validate and justify. Yes.
How do I validate my claim to the land? I rewrite the history.
History, exactly.
How do I show this history? And then now we're getting into the independence period.
But before we continue to the juicy part of our story, let's go to our legal segment with our trusted legal voice, Natasha Karamihu.
Good morning from Athens. I'm Natasha Karamihu, solicitor and legal advisor to the Greek Podyssey. Today, I will elaborate on a subject I dealt with recently and I believe it presents a great interest to you all. Mistakes on the Greek registry certificates. So when you launch a civil action like birth, marriage or death, you set an appointment at the consulate and you present a foreign registry certificate with apostille, among other documents. If you already possess the Greek citizenship, meaning that you are already registered in the state archives in Greece, the consulate will issue the same certificate in Greek for you. In many cases, your details on the Greek certificate do not correspond to the details on your English one. I give you an example. In my birth certificate, my name is declared as Anastasia with one S, but if under specific circumstances I would like to issue a certificate in English, my name could be transferred as Anastasia with two S's. Another example would be that my surname, Karamihu, could be transferred as Karamihu written with C in front, not K, as the first capital letter. As a result, the two certificates I have in my hands do not match, and if, for instance, I would like to issue my new Greek identity card, I wouldn't be able to do it. What can we do in these cases? Under the Greek law, we can demand a registry certificate correction, in which case are we legit to ask for a correction. The application for correction may refer in particular to A. its compilation or reissuance due to the loss or destruction of the relevant record, B. the completion, change or deletion of an element or elements of its content, if they do not correspond to the actual situation at the time of its compilation, or if any change has occurred subsequently which makes the correction necessary. Correction is possible in such cases, regardless of whether the incorrect entry is due to a false statement by the persons concerned or to an error from the registrar side. Very important, the civil action must have been registered in the Registrar for Greeks of Diaspora in Athens, Department of the Ministry of Interior Affairs. Under which circumstances the correction of a civil status certificate is valid. For the application to be valid, the incorrect entry must be due to an act of omission, either by the registrar or by the person who made the statement of fact. Such errors, for instance, could be the incorrect entry of a parent's name on the birth certificate of a person. A fairly common case of a requested correction, let's say of a birth certificate, is that of a change or completion of one's first name. As has been held on many occasions, such a correction may not be due to an employee's error in the original declaration, but may be justified by an important reason relating to the constitutional right of the free development of personality. An important reason could be the change of name for the security of transactions, or where the existing name has created negative consequences for the individual. Which are the most common civil certificates upon which we request changes? The birth certificate that may include details of one parent only. The marriage certificate that may include wrong information regarding the spouse's surname after marriage. The death certificate because the date of death is not accurate. How do we change the civil certificate in Greece? Through a court order. This is necessary for serious corrections involving such details as place, time, date, or other essential facts. Secondly, by public prosecutor's authorization, permitted for non-serious changes. Corrections of errors that do not concern the place, date, month, year, and time of birth, or errors of punctuation, grammatical and phonological rules may be made with the permission of the prosecutor's office. Then the registrar will proceed with the correction of the civil status certificate if the following supporting documents are presented to them, namely, a certified copy of the final court decision, a service report of the decision, and a certificate from the court secretariat regarding the non-existence of legal remedies issued 1 month after the service report. Modifications made due to changes in civil status in respective certificates, such as marriage or birth, must reflect the actual family situation, including new family forms. I'm certain that many of you, after following this podcast, will compare your foreign and Greek certificates to look for differences. Just remember that most of the times, details and documents can be corrected following the appropriate legal process. I would be more than happy to respond to your queries. Don't stop following the Greek Podyssey.
We're getting towards the end of the Cold War. Tito dies. It's obvious Yugoslavia is going to fall
Break
apart.
up.
It only takes about 10 years.
Can we talk here about Tito's job in the Macedonian issue? A quick one.
Tito is basically the one who created what we call the modern Macedonian issue. For the first time, this group of people is actually given a state. Yes, within Yugoslavia, but they have cultural, linguistic, educational autonomy. They can develop their own, what they define as, and they call it, literary language, their own version of Kafarevis,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is only formed in 44-45.
Yeah.
They have a meeting
gonna
in
send it.
1944. They're talking. They form the Socialist Republic of Macedonia within the Yugoslav Federation.
Yeah.
I think back about 15 years before, where Communist Party, of Greece, what did it say? A Macedonian state inside a Balkan Communist Federation.
Yeah.
Yugoslavia was supposed to be the first part of this Communist Federation.
So,
But Tito had an argument with Stalin.
oh, really? Okay.
Tito liked being an independent boss.
But Stalin doesn't like these
Stalin
things.
didn't argue with anyone.
Yeah, of course. He's Stalin.
He's Stalin.
How Tito
To use
didn't...
his real name, Jugashvili.
Yeah.
So Tito
Yugoslavia.
dies, and then what happens?
The country starts to fall apart. Yugoslavia, the federation, starts to fall apart. Then we get the very bloody, in the sense of a lot of blood, the civil wars. Slovenia gets away pretty quickly, pretty easily. Croatia, especially Eastern Croatia, suffers horribly. Serbian communities that have been there for centuries are expelled. They all retreat either into Serbia or into Bosnia. And then you get the Bosnian War, which still hasn't been resolved.
So where did these Slavs, with the breakup of Yugoslavia, what happened to that? Was the whole
Slav Macedonia became their own country,
right?
became the Republic of Macedonia.
But you're moving forward very fast.
Yes, I am.
We
I
haven't
know.
been there yet.
We're not there yet. Let's go back.
Let's go back to Cold War
Okay.
and let's see what's the Macedonian issue in that era.
60s, 70s, 80s is when, especially in the 60s, I remember my dad telling me this. My dad and my late in-law would come across these people in the workplace. And they would talk to people at the consulate. We've got a problem here. These guys are saying Macedonia is theirs. What's going on? These are people who finished, maybe they finished a couple of years of high school.
Yes.
Or like my dad, technical school. Most of them didn't even finish primary schools. And what do they know about history? No worries. There's no problem. There's no problems. Don't worry about it. Just ignore them. Until 1988, almost at the end of the Cold War, when the president of the Republic, Christos Sotsidakis, comes along, puts an umbrella on the head in a protest outside his hotel. The Wentworth, Senator Wentworth in the city. And then Greece suddenly announces, oh my God, there's a Macedonian issue.
That's how we realize it. That's when
That's
we
how the Greek state
realize it.
People in Macedonia knew, and they were screaming at them because they had the Pan-Macedonian associations in Australia, and especially Australia, but also in Europe and America, but especially America.
So why wasn't the
especially
state of
Australia and
Greece
Canada.
listening to them?
Don't get me started.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't get me started. What do you Balkans know? You're a bunch of Malmo in the middle of the Pacific. Go away. We're not going to listen to you.
Interesting.
Now, what else comes up? 1967, you have the Macedonian Orthodox Church being formed. By who? By Tito. Why? To break them away from Bulgaria.
Hey, what's the difference?
Why? Because Bulgaria was still loyal to Moscow.
Yes.
And he wanted the Slav Macedonians loyal to him. He, who's not a church person, just announces Macedonian Orthodox Church now exists.
Okay. And that's how the conflict between Bulgarians and North Macedonians started?
Really, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That really starts it.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's where it kicks in.
That's really where it kicks in. And a parallel today, the split between the Ukrainians and the Russians.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A couple of years
Similar.
after the Russian invasion, what did the Patriarchate recognize? The autocephaly of the Ukrainian church.
And what's the difference between...
The only difference, really, the language that is used.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
We can walk into a Slav Macedonian church. We will understand exactly what point of liturgy it's up to.
And it's
We won't understand a single word.
it's based on the old calendar?
They still use the old calendar.
They still use...
Even for all festivals.
Yeah.
Whereas our church only uses Easter for the old calendar. Everything else is new calendar.
Yeah.
And this is when we get to 60s, the Cold War period is when we get, most important of all, football. You think about your parents.
Yes.
You were in Greece. Dad, in the 60s and the 70s, where would he go on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon?
Football.
Sydney Olympic.
Yes.
Or Melbourne, South Melbourne. Or if he was a smart guy, he'd go with Heidelberg Alexander.
And
Why do I mention Heidelberg? Why is it called Alexander? Because it's formed by Masons
Yes.
in the northern suburbs of Melbourne.
Yeah.
That's why it's still called Heidelberg Alexander.
And there's the Rockdale City Suns.
Or the old Rockdale Elinden.
Linden. Yes.
Sydney Macedonia,
Yes.
which is up at Bankstown, now called Yaguna Lions.
Yep.
Wollongong Macedonia. Wollongong Lions.
Yep.
Who's the one over in Perth now? Stirling Macedonia, now Stirling Lions.
And they use the Star of Virginia for...
Some Rockdale does.
Elinden
The other ones use the Bulgarian Lions.
Right.
Oh, the Lions, a symbol of Alexander as well. No, the Lions are an ancient worldwide royal symbol.
Exactly. The British
What do I
have it
mention
too.
in football? In multicultural Australia, it was a way for them to express national identity.
And boy, did they express it.
They did. Well, they had nothing else. They had no country. It was Yugoslavia.
Yes.
The way that they expressed in public, not in behind closed doors, behind their churches or in their community halls, in public on a national stage, the NSL, the National Football League, Soccer League, became the platform for them to say, this is us. We are here. No one's really done a study on the football.
That's a whole culture on its own, isn't it?
Oh, completely.
Great culture.
Completely. The football culture is
Of
completely
identity.
different.
And that's how this issue unfolds here in Australia or
In
in
the diaspora.
America or
60s onwards is expressed through football.
okay. And we go after that to the independence of
So
Skopje
now we're at 19.
and modern politics.
Now 1991, we're getting towards the end.
Okay.
They simply declare independence. Unlike what happens with, especially with Croatia and Bosnia, there is no war. There's barely any shooting at all. It's like, yeah, okay, go away. You're too poor and too insignificant to worry about.
Yeah.
For a few years, you got the leftover communists who run the joint.
Yeah.
Then you get the VMRO, and we go back to the 1890s.
Was that
The
the
Internal Macedonia Revolutionary Organization,
okay?
which is now, by now, it's evolved to it's Macedonian in a national or an ethnic. They're the ones that really cause the issues. They use the Starovedijina. They put up statues of great heroes who are, in their eyes, Slav Macedonian in the middle of Skopje. A lot of them are still there.
Yeah.
Most famous one being what they call the warrior on a horse,
Yeah, exactly.
which everybody calls Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
My wife said at that time, many rock and heavy metal bands named themselves Alexander the Great
Oh,
in North
in
Macedonia.
there. Maniacals.
Looking for somewhere to grab onto, all right? So for the 40, 50 odd years that this state exists within Yugoslavia and a little bit as independent, we're Slavs. Our ancestors came here in the Middle Ages. Nothing to do with the ancients. But the radicals who understand if they accept that, they are taking away any claim to the Greek,
Yeah.
which was never part of their kingdom. All right? What they claim was their kingdom. So you start getting a rise within the country of antiquizatia, basically making everything ancient.
Yes.
Xenomania,
Exactly.
archaeomania.
That's what they do.
Archaeomania.
They're taking it back to ancient times, and they talk about, you're not Greeks, you're Illyrians, you're this, you're that, and they put it all in the mix.
And the closest thing that we would have in Greek is archaeomania. So we have statues of Alexander. The national airport is called Philip II. The national stadium is called Philip II. Ancient Macedonia never reached that far north. It was a little bit beyond what we call the border,
Yes.
what the modern border is, a little bit further north. That was the extent of his domain.
And whereabouts is that?
A little bit outside Monastir. A little bit
Okay, so before Skopje.
further, way before Scotland.
Panayoti,
Ancient
What-
Macedonia, in Philip's kingdom, Alexander's kingdom.
Yeah.
Went down to
what do the academics of that region say? Because they're not listening to their mum and dad from the village. They're scholars who have studied. So what are they saying in that region from that ethnic group?
to do with antiquity. Most of them are pretty silent because they know that they've got no legs to stand on.
Yes.
The scholarly attitude is, this is what we call ourselves. We have the right to self-identification. We have the right to call ourselves what we want to call ourselves.
Non-binary.
No,
For example-
we live in an era where everyone's got the right to identify with whoever
when
they
you
want.
think about it, it's a difficult argument to go against.
I would like to come now to Tsipras Agreement.
The Prespa.
The Prespa, that's your point here. And let's go now to the Tsipras government and the Prespa Agreements. So,
How did we lead
Okay,
to that?
So
no, we lead through all.
for a long time, post-independence, they did not have diplomatic relations with each other. Almost 20 years.
Yeah. They were
When-
called
when neighbours
Firom.
and-
We didn't mention Firom.
And this is, again, from my point of view, a fatal mistake on the part of the Greek state. We kept the focus on the history. The world doesn't give a rat's bum.
Exactly. It's about now. Geopolitics.
It's all about politics. It's all about politics. It's all about geography.
Yes.
And we should have kept that argument from day one, but we didn't. Okay. Okay. Hindsight is a wonderful thing to say.
Always.
So eventually under pressure, particularly from Europe,
Who was pressuring from Europe?
the European,
The EU?
particularly Germany,
Yes.
The usuals.
pressuring Greece.
To
Can
recognise.
you do
Sort it out.
some sort of agreement here? Just sort this issue out because we're wasting our time. The Hellenic state burned a lot of political capital. And as a community, we burned a lot of political capital in Australia. I was involved with it way more than most people know.
Yep.
And we burned a lot of political capital on an issue that we should have resolved a long time ago. Now, what happens? We start getting a new Cold War in the 2010s. Okay, to be specific for me, it's the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Beijing Olympics, 2008. Night of the opening ceremony. Anybody remember what happened in Caucasia, in Georgia?
No.
The Russians invade.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Abkhazia.
Abkhazia. Yeah.
They grabbed 1/3 of Georgia. Oh, they're independent states. They voted to join the Russian Federation. 2008. All goes quiet. 2014. What happens? Where does Moscow invade now? Crimea.
Crimea. Yeah.
Yep.
Overwhelming majority is population Russian. They vote to join the Russian Federation. People can see, the ones who knew at high level could see what's happening.
And move along.
So the pressure is really on Greece now to close this once and for all, because the Americans especially wanted to use Thessaly, Alexandroupolis and Kavala to feed Eastern Europe.
So they wanted a clear, defining border with a separate
A
identity.
conservative government could never get away with it.
Yeah.
Ever.
Do you think the Conservative government would have agreed to the Prespa and signed
They
it?
couldn't. They'd be wiped out in northern Greece.
Absolutely,
They
yes.
wouldn't. They'd be wiped out from power for a generation.
And I think Tsipras will bear the brunt of that.
He did. So they go to Prespa. Prespa is a lake. There's two lakes, Mikri Prespa and Megali Prespa. Divided between us. Mikri Prespa is divided between us and Skopje. Megali Prespa is divided between us, Skopje, and Albania.
Mm-hmm.
So they deliberately, as a sign of unity, it's the heart of southeastern Europe. It's on the border. So they officially, the optics, always think about the optics. Nice, beautiful mountain lake, green forests around, no protesters, no tear gas, no riot
A warm and
police.
fuzzy agreement.
A warm and fuzzy
diffusing.
agreement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think that on their side there is overwhelming support for it, because there's not.
No, because they're not happy with being.
They had to sign over. They refused. They are not allowed to use the Saravedina, which in terms of international trademarks has been recognized for a long time, legally, as a Greek symbol. Greek state chooses not to follow it up, despite what the Panmax want and hassle the consulate and the embassy constantly. They just go, it's just not worth our time. We've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Literally that is the answer. They don't like the rejection of all claims to ancient heritage. Now, inside Skopje, they don't really care. The big issue inside Skopje is exactly the same issues that we have here. Affordability, housing,
Yeah.
unemployment,
Yeah.
declining birth rate.
Which is worldwide. at the moment.
Migration.
Migration.
Anybody that signs over and signs a document and says, I'm a Bulgarian ethnically, gets a Bulgarian passport, which means an EU passport.
Mm-hmm.
The number is over 300,000 at last count.
Really. The golden
Of
ticket.
Skopje citizens
Yes.
that sign.
Don't they have to prove? How can they just say, I'm a Bulgarian citizen?
Bulgarians accept it.
They accept it. They want
'Cause
more
it suits
citizens.
them.
They want, yes.
These people aren't going to stay in Skopje or stay in Bulgaria. They want to go to Europe.
Yeah.
They want to make money.
And this is their ticket.
And this is what they see as their ticket,
Smart.
which is why Bulgaria and Romania have been removed from the Schengen agreement.
Yeah.
Free travel, so they still need a visa,
Yes.
even though they're part of the EU. So sooner or later, Albania, Serbia, Skopje, they'll all join the EU.
And you said Albania. Now we have the Albanians jumping in. I don't feel complete, to be honest, because
It's never.
Us-
It's
It's
never.
politics.
It's never.
It's
Politics
history.
is
It's never. This is the. Remember the old 1980s film, The Never-Ending Story?
Yes.
This is the never-ending story. History and politics never end.
Because a lot of it's subjective,
Of course it is.
and we see the history is
cyclical.
yes. And now we have the same issues again with the Turkeys, with the Aegean. It's still there
It's
with the
still-
borders, with the ethnicities, and all that. It was always there, and it will always be.
It's a combination where it confuses identity and politics, and people are trying to create their identity and say, it's my identity, you stole my identity. So it's a battle of identity.
Absolutely.
and
And in Anatolia, the new battleground, the new battlefield of this identity is DNA.
Exactly. We have DNA now.
DNA testing.
Yes.
It's actually banned in the country.
Yes.
Officially banned.
which country?
Turkey.
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 Well, a friend of mine.
Do a search. It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, I didn't know that.
More
Because
than
of too much DNA was coming back as Greek.
or
And
Armenian or
I
whatever.
have
Oh,
a
Kurdish.
Just not.
Turkish.
classic
Okay.
example. I recently visited Turkey and was being hosted by a beautiful, lovely Turkish couple. And they told me a story about a very close friend of theirs that said, I'm going to go and have a DNA test because I know I'm Turkish through and through. He said he called me maybe 6 months later and said, my DNA came back 60% Greek.
If they're in the West, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
They were in Izmir.
So, what is identity? So we were talking now with the Macedonian to try and close the conversation. We're talking about ancient history and artifacts and things. Now we're going all the way back to our very DNA,
Yes,
the essence of
Who we are.
who we are
exactly.
as biological creatures.
Yes,
To define what our identity is.
Exactly. So
So it never
Changes.
never stops changing.
who knows, where do you see history, say, I know this is like so subjective, 1,000 years from now when technology, AI, all of the inventions of technology, do you think it's going to zero in more on identity and DNA and these things as, because we're a lot more sophisticated now than what we were,
100
years
years
ago. 100 years ago. So where do you see us, say, 100 years from now, do you think the identity issue is going to remain the same or it will be more
Most national identities will disappear in the next century. Felicity,
based on?
they just won't be functioning. They won't
Yeah.
be operating.
Where do you see the Greek
what
identity?
is a core part of your identity? Your glossus.
Η γλώσσα σου.
In a world that is increasingly non-religious, especially in the West,
Yes.
right? What is left to define your identity, your language? Most of the world's languages today will have disappeared in a century.
Where do you see Greece's identity or Greek identity in 100 years?
Far more European, less exclusive.
In terms of language, given that we're a foundation language and we're the foundation of science and our language is everywhere.
And I'll quote another person you might know quite well, Dr. Alfred Vincent.
Yes,
Use it or lose it.
absolutely. Got to
If
use
we
it.
don't speak Greek,
Yes.
whether it's here in Australia or in Greece or in Cyprus,
That's
it'll
true.
get lost.
Yeah.
That's true.
Really, that's it.
Which is why, and I know we're digressing from Macedonia, which is why Greek movies are important, Greek theatre is important, Greek
Podcasts
music is
are
important, podcasts are important, because we don't speak Greek on this podcast, but we are talking about the importance of it. These things expose people to Greek language, the next generations. We've got to support these things.
Let's stick to Australia for a second. What groups, associations in Australia, in the Greek community in Australia, are the largest, most active and strongest?
And the ethnic.
The Pontians.
No.
Who?
I'm going a bit broader.
Yeah.
Not by region.
The
Oh,
ethnic.
right.
The ethnic.
The dance groups.
The dance groups. Yes.
The
Absolutely.
folkloric dance groups.
Yes.
Now, I will bring up the Pondians because what they're doing, apart from teaching the dancing, is they're teaching the songs.
Yeah.
So the kids cannot speak Pondian. Most of them can't speak real Greek, but they can sing
I
an
can
entire
hear
song.
it exactly.
They can sing to you the entire song. So
Yes.
that basis, that residual memory.
And that's where I want to grab the opportunity and say,
Oops.
now, to end it up, we would love to have you here in another episode, talk about the genocide.
Sure.
I think it's each,
Absolutely.
yes, each our responsibility to bring that up.
Particularly why Biden recognized the Armenian genocide only and not the other. So we can delve into those subjects when we come back next
I think
year.
I will close with, this will be the final thing I'll say apart from Aristotle, is in church, at the end of the service, the last part of the liturgy is
Amen. Yes.
The remembrance. The memory.
The requiem.
Yes.
If we don't say these stories, if we don't discuss these stories, they die. When we don't say people's names, the memories die.
Fact. Yes.
That's true. I would like
Great thing to finish
you
on
on the Podyssey.
I would like
Thank
to
you very
close
much,
with that.
Panagiotis. Thank you to Dr. Panagiotis.
I would like to close with that. Use it
Or lose it.
or lose it. Thank you very much
Thank you for joining us.
being with us for another episode.
Stay
Thank
tuned.
you,
And thank you
Doctor.
immensely. You've enlightened us and we've really enjoyed this
We
discussion.
can sit for hours here and talk
Absolutely.
about
We'll
this.
just continue, but we'll leave it here. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one.
I'm Christine Stavropoulos.
Κι εγώ ο Νίκος Σαμίδης. Και αυτό είναι το Greek Podyssey, το podcast της Ομογένειας.
A podcast for Hellenes worldwide, sharing stories, culture, identity, laughs, and a little bit of tsugrisma along the way.
Γιατί μπορεί να φύγαμε από την Ελλάδα, αλλά η Ελλάδα δεν έφυγε ποτέ από μας.